What's going on, guys? We're back with an updated guide on Deadshot RAFA, where we're able to achieve 100% critical hit chance without the use of the crit knife, due to a pretty cool interaction. This build was made possible by the many build crafters in Girthquake's Discord who tested for stuff like this, so shout out to them. I'm gonna have a link in the pinned comment if you'd like to check out the resources for yourself or if you just want to hang out. And with that out the way, let's get into the video. So just to quickly preface how we're able to achieve 100% critical hit chance, Brain Dump is an overdrive skill that we're able to boost with things like Jock, Soltado, and the 100% overdrive bonus from the Dancer class mod. Combined with the Piercer enhancement, we're able to get this to 90% or 95% on Jacob's licensed weapons. And if you've watched the previous Deadshot video, you'd know that Vitriol is skill damage and that it tags our initial gunshot with skill damage as well. And due to the discovery and hard work of people in the Girthquake Discord, things like I Am a Gun and a Honed Mine are actually skill damage, so they apply to both action skill and skill damage sources. As you can see, a Honed Mine gives us 5% action skill critical hit chance, but it's actually skill critical hit chance as well as action skill critical hit chance, which is the last 5% we would need to achieve 100% critical hit chance. The 50% critical hit damage bonus also properly applies to body shots, so even if you're not aiming dead on the target's critical hardpoint, you're still getting this pretty massive bonus. And I Am a Gun is reapplying half of all of our bonuses to our shot, which is ridiculous because charging Lance gives us access to on-shot gun damage, which would apply that bonus again, which would be 75% with all of our overdrive bonuses maxed out. So we would get a 75% additional on-shot bonus with this. As for the spec, it's mostly the same. We make a very small adjustment to make the 100% critical hit chance possible. Otherwise, everything is about the same as the last one. We go with Rent for the reload speed, as that's just a good DPS boost. Preparato to help with our cooldown. Lance still doesn't work with caffeine, and I'm expecting that to change with the patch next week. But as of now, this is still a great skill to help us with cooldown. Then we go for El Centro. You could take 1 point out and put it in Metal Management if you still want to abuse spamming like outfire modes, but it's completely preferential. And if you're using single pellet weapons, you can put 1 or 2 points into here. This does add with amp damage, as it is amp damage, but if you want the most damage possible with single shot weapons, you can put some points in here. El Soldado, as we know, the charged portion is on shot, where the uncharged portion is on hit. So it's giving us a massive multiplier with our regular gun damage, as explained in the previous video. We grab Jock, which we're able to stack with Vitriol in the red tree. This allows us to stack our overdrive bonuses to the max without actually having to damage enemies with our action skills, since Jock stacks off skill damage and Vitriol is skill damage. Brain Dump, as explained, will get us to 75% critical hit chance, combined with the Piercer enhancement and a Honed Mine in the Specialization tree. That's pretty much the blue tree in a nutshell. Pretty much the same. If you want, you can take some points out of Brain Dump and put like 2 of them into Deadline for faster reloads. I would recommend it with snipers, as you would want to reload these snipers so you can tag your first shot with Vitriol. And it's very fun with things like the Katagawa's Revenge, which I've been using a ton of on the setup. For the red tree, we go with the Shield Barriest, which is also an overdrive skill. This helps us keep our shield capped off, which is very important because we're using amp damage. Combined with Sia and all the Jacob's ricochets we're getting, we're able to also keep it capped off. You can move points out of here into like City R or Deft Hands, but it's pretty or not Deft Dance, City Art, but it's pretty negligible. Completely up to you. I just like the shield barriers for maximum uptime on amp and the survivability. Werga, once again, is our primary source of action skill uptime. We're going to be hitting guaranteed crits, so this is always proccing once it cools down. And then we grab the star of the show, Vitriol. I think it's better to just have 4 points in here as to allow us to max out skills like Jacques, El Soldado, or Brain Dump. It just will net you the most damage. For the augments, we're using both Sangre por Sangre and Battery Subscription Service. Sangre for the cooldown during mobbing to cycle our lance before the next encounter, combined with Preparado and the accelerator part on our rep kit. Or this is amp, but we will be using an accelerator part for mobbing. Battery Subscription Service for bossing, as the skill damage here does apply to Vitriol, and our shot that gets tagged with skill damage because of Vitriol, but we only get one charged bonus worth of this. So 100% actually, because the skill damage listed here is actually 100. So we're tagging our shot with an additional 100% skill damage bonus, which is completely overkill for anything. You genuinely don't need this for bossing, but we throw it on anyways. So for guns, you really only need 2 weapons, one being the spread launcher out fire mode, and literally any Jacob shotgun that you want. We're going with the hot slugger just because we're losing a little bit of reload speed, and its lower reload speed is a bit more attractive, as well as the effect of it just being insanely strong. 100% critical hit chance on the hot slugger is just ridiculous. We're hitting for well over 1 million damage on mobs, which is enough to one-shot any of them. The Balor is still a great choice. I would recommend taking a couple of points out of Brain Dump and putting them into Deadline just to help with that reload speed. You're still going to be critting a lot due to its high pellet count, and it's still stronger on this setup because of the interaction we went over early on. Hellwalker is also really good on this setup. We don't really care about element matching anymore, as we have enough damage to just kill anything. So the Hellwalker is very fun. It also has a very low reload time, so you might want to favor it over the Balor in certain situations. And that's about it for the weapons. The Katagawa's Revenge is a good shout. I would say put 2 points into Deadline just so you can use it more effectively, but this thing with a Jacob's part will ricochet the gun's effect all over the map, and it will just wipe out entire rooms with just a couple of shots. But pretty much any weapon you can think of with a Jacob's part will work on this. The 7th Sense, the Boom Slang is also great. Any Jacob's sniper, any Jacob's parted weapon will be perfectly fine on this setup. For the gear, it's mostly the same. We're using a bypass with accelerator to cycle our lance. However, you only need about 2 charges alongside our cooldown skills to fully cycle it. So don't worry if you don't have a bypass with this. 2 charges will be just fine. For bossing, we would swap to an amp bypass. Once again, you only need 1 charge for this, as we're one-shotting everything in the game. So literally any rep kit with amp will do just fine. Ordnance doesn't really matter, as we're not able to use it at all on this setup. So just use it with the preferred firmware for the setup. Dancer class mod, this thing needs no introduction, it's insane. The cooldown passive on it is also guaranteed, which is nice for us. And the other passive isn't super important. Crit damage is nice. Remember to aim for critical hardpoints regardless, as to make best use of all of our critical damage bonuses properly. We're using an amp What's for Dinner for both mobbing and bossing. We're able to keep this capped off in mobbing with our shield skills, and we're only ever one-shotting, so we only need 1 shot from this to kill any boss in the game. The Quintain, once again, to get us to that 100% critical hit chance mark in mobbing. And even without Soltado active, we're at 70% critical hit chance on the setup, which is more than enough for bossing. Quite frankly, you don't even need all that much crit chance to one-shot bosses on the setup. This is mainly for mobbing. The gun damage here multiplies with our regular gun damage and adds with our on-shot gun damage, so keep an eye out for things like gun damage or shotgun damage or sniper damage, etc. They're pretty nice bonuses. As for the firmware, we're going tier 3 Deadeye again. Aim for critical hardpoints if you want the most overkill version of this build. We're able to stack the tier 3 bonus of it with body shot crits, but it won't benefit from it. So aim for the head if you want to be completely overkill. Completely your choice. Heating Up and Oscar Mike are even better if you're not going for deadline, as we're able to get about 50% with these two plus Rinse in the blue tree, which is still a very nice bonus. However, if you want to use other guns with a bit higher reload speed points or reload speed stats, take a couple of points out of Brain Dump, put them in deadline. Just 2 of them will get you to 50% with all of your overdrive bonuses capped off, which is 100% reload speed reduction alongside the firmware. These specializations, as we've gone over, I Am a Gun and a Honed Mine, are just ridiculous and is boosting this build's damage to new heights. We still go with Rid of You This. We're able to stack this with just one shot due to Vitriol counting as another instance of damage and using high pellet weapons. So if you're using a Valor or a Hellwalker, it's like 20 instances of damage, which will get you to 20 stacks. And if you're critting, it'll ricochet twice, which is in a perfect scenario, which is quite often, will be 60 instances of damage dealt, which will instantly sack this in mobbing. One shot, one kill is an option. Not that great, as it has a cap on the damage. You could use it with snipers or the Hot Slugger if you want, but I just think Rid of You This is better in general. Bullet Train is also still very nice here, as we're RAFA, so we just have tons of movement speed regardless. If you made it this far in the video, I want to thank you for watching once again. I'm just going to let some clips of the build run in the background. And yeah, take care guys.